The Shrooms update has officially dropped in Schedule 1, adding a brand new drug, a ton of new equipment, a new supplier, and a few new customers. But as always, every new update brings a lot of new questions, and the internet has been speculating like crazy. To be honest, I've seen a lot of information that is just flat out wrong, so I dug into the code to get you guys some actual answers. In this video, we're going to be breaking down all of the new customers, how the AC unit actually works, what's going on with the cartel dealer smoke breaks, how shroom visuals function, and a bunch of other stuff the game is doing behind the scenes. So strap in, buckle up, and get ready to peek underneath the hood because we're diving straight into the game's code to see how this update really works. The first thing we're going to tackle is all of the new customers that just got added, and you may have already seen a few of them around town. This update brought 4 brand new customers to different areas of Highland Point. We got 1 in downtown, 2 in the docks, and 1 in uptown, and I managed to data mine their schedules. Here's what they're all like. The first customer is Bruce Norden, who is almost certainly a nod to the 2 actors Bruce Willis and Chuck Norris. This red-capped menace hails from downtown, and is friends with Jeff and Philip. He lives in Highland Tower, so you know he's got a decent bit of cash on hand, and he spends his days chatting it up with the social elite all over town. From the mayor to the lawyers, he's got it covered. Bruce's starting budget is $1,000, meaning he'll be ordering from you on a fairly frequent basis. So cultivating a good relationship with him is sure to get you paid. Up next, we got Sherman Giles. He's from the Docks region, and I seriously think he's based on Shane Gillis. This blue beanied serial chiller leaves Randy's place late in the morning, hangs out in the pawn shop, and then bums free coffee from the community center before making the long trek across the bay back to Randy's for an early evening. He absolutely loves shrooms, and thankfully his $1,000 starting budget makes sure that he can afford them. Moving on to the next new NPC, we have Kelly Reynolds, who is 100% based on the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia characters Charlie Kelly and Dee Reynolds. She's also from the docks, but she spends her days with an entirely different crowd than Sherman. She dresses in plain, no-nonsense green jeans and a black shirt, and hangs out primarily in the Suburbia Park or on the North Waterfront before heading back to her home in the Docks Brown apartment building. Whatever she gets up to in there must pay her well because she starts with a beginning weekly budget of $1,000, and just like Sherman, she also prefers shrooms. If we dig into her schedule, we can see that she's actually meant to stay at the Kennedy house with Dennis and Karen, but for some reason she never actually goes over there. Are all those late nights that Karen spends out at the casino making Dennis a little bit lonely, or is Karen just renting a room to her because she wants a little extra cash? Who knows? The last new customer we got is named Irene Meadows, whose twin buns, black jacket, and plain slacks make her come across as businesslike and very serious. And her schedule absolutely reflects this. She hangs out at Ray's Real Estate, the bank, and the hospital, where she also spends the entire night. I don't know if she works there or she's just old and needs a lot of help, but something is going on at the hospital. If we dig further into the code, we can see she's supposed to own this car right here, but for whatever reason, she never actually gets into the car. So instead, she tries to steal both Jeremy and Michael's cars in the post office parking lot. Being that she's old, she's probably got a few screws loose and can't even remember that her own car is parked at the hospital 20 feet away. Whatever it is, her starting budget is $2,000 and she prefers coke and hates meth. So keep that in mind when you deal to her. The next interesting addition to the game was the introduction of a new cartel behavior, the smoke break. This is actually something that I suggested to Tyler a while back, and I'm so glad it finally made it into the game. The smoke breaks were added to make finding those ever-elusive cartel dealers a little bit easier, especially in the early game when you're trying to quickly reduce cartel influence and take over the town. I got my friend Estonia to make a map of all the possible smoke break locations, so you might want to take a screenshot. The dealers will initiate a smoke break anytime they complete a deal, meaning it will only happen in areas of town with heavy cartel influence. Once the dealer completes a deal with one of the customers in the area, they will pick a random smoke location nearby, travel to it, and sit there for 2 to 8 hours puffing away. It's important to note that the dealers only smoke in their own areas, so you won't find a downtown dealer in Uptown or the dealer from the docks in Westville. Now, I think this is a great addition to the game, but there's still a slight problem with the dealers. You see, once you unlock a region, 90% of the time you just start speedrun unlocking every customer available, and the cartel dealers will only make deals with the people you haven't unlocked yet. So the reason you rarely see them is because they don't have any customers to sell to. But by keeping poor relations with one customer in the area, we force that NPC to keep contacting a cartel dealer to buy some drugs. This causes the dealer to be out in the open far more often, and even more so now that smoke breaks cause them to be out of the house for a few extra minutes. So find a customer you hate, never unlock them, and use them to farm the cartel dealers. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the shrooms themselves, and I got 3 things that I need to bring up. First, while digging through the code, I came across the lines that provided input on growing speed and quality for the shrooms. And based on these, despite what I've been seeing online, grow lights 100% do not increase the growth speed of the mushrooms. The only factors that contribute to mushroom growth speed is temperature and water, so slap down that cold AC unit and just leave it alone. Second, the visual effects caused by a mushroom trip are actually pretty simple. The game code simply adds a shader over what is currently being displayed. This shader takes all the visuals and adds in some noise, panning, and a little bit of bounce to produce the crazy effects you see every time you decide to go for a little trip across town. And lastly, we have to talk about mushroom spawns in the sewers, because this is going to be important for any shroom sell percent speedruns. You see, our little fungis aren't just limited to the mushroom beds. The sewer goblin has been cultivating a crop of Cybin sidekicks throughout the entire sewer system. The respawn frequency and amount is governed by this line in the code. This line dictates how often you can find naturally spawned mushrooms in the sewers. Let's dig into this a bit more so you get a better idea of when and where to find the mushrooms. Each day, the code spawns up to 15 mushrooms, but each individual mushroom only has a 20% chance to spawn. This gives us an effective rate of about 3 mushrooms per day. I say about because the game can technically refuse to spawn a mushroom if the location picking line has a conflict, but it doesn't happen that often. See, the sewers are divided into 9 areas, each of which has between 4 and 7 individual locations. At the start of the day, the game attempts to spawn a mushroom in one of these areas, and if successful, it attempts another spawn. But if it picks the same area again, the spawn fails and it starts the process all over. In short, there's a total of 53 spawn locations in the sewers, so barring any bad rolls, it should take about 18 full days to fill all of these up. If you'd like to see a map of possible spawn locations, so you can be sure you're checking all the available spots each day, I'll upload one to my Discord, which you can join by clicking the link in the description below, or going to discord.gg/BigWilly. We're a growing community of like-minded gamers who would be happy to chat, find new Schedule 1 games you can join, or answer any burning questions you may have about the game, so feel free to stop in. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the new piece of equipment we got. The AC unit, and here's what I found when I dug into the code. There's tons of numbers and math being thrown around regarding temperatures, distances, and growth rates, but I'll do my best to simplify it. The growth bonus from the AC units is actually pretty complicated, and instead of boring you with equations and numbers, I figured I'd just show you a picture and explain it with a visual representation. I laid out a bunch of air pots next to the AC unit, and I turned on the heat map with the H key so you all could see the temperatures. 38.5 degrees increases the growth speed by 46%, 37.5 degrees increases it by 43%, 35 degrees is a 37% boost, 33.5 degrees is a 33% boost, and 30 degrees is a 25% boost. So basically, if you want to get the most bang for your buck, all of your plants should be touching an AC unit. The further away you are, the less effective it's going to be. Now, we already talked about all of the new customers at the start of the video, but something also changed with all the old ones. You see, every NPC has a certain affinity to each of the drugs, which determines how much they like or dislike them. And since we got a new drug, now there's something new for them to love or hate. Unfortunately, listing all of the changes would take at least 20 minutes, so I'm just going to throw a list up on the screen, and you can screenshot it if you want to use as a reference for your growing empire. So there you have it. Another update, another deep dive into the cogs and wheels that make the game turn. It was a blast digging through all the moving pieces to see what kind of changes Tyler made, and being able to share them with you all is just icing on the cake. This past year has brought us one of the best games in recent memory, and I'm super excited for what's to come in 2026. If you'd like to stay up to date with all things Schedule 1, make sure you subscribe. And as always, stay silly, y'all.